It is April 12th, 2019. 3 of the dozen potato bags that I've got going have been hilled once already. And as you can see, it's just about time to hill them again. So I thought I would talk about it. So first of all, what we're doing here is we're growing these in felt pots or smart pots. So this is, I believe, a 10, it might be a 15, I think it's a 10-gallon smart pot. And effectively what happens is you can just roll the sides down and then roll them up as you start to hill, which is really nice because you can expose all this foliage to the sun while being able to hill it up perfectly effectively. So what we're gonna do now is, you can see here on these potatoes, we've got 6, 8, maybe even 9 inches of top growth, which is more than enough as a trigger point for a hilling. So this will be the last time that I hill these particular potatoes, because after that, there's no more room for the soil to actually sit in the pot. So this will be my final time. What I think I will do is, I'm just gonna go through the process. So right here I have a wheelbarrow with a little bit of leftover potting mix. I also have a bag down here of topsoil, which is a screened mixture of just standard topsoil, a little bit of compost, and then what we'll do, we'll hill these up, and we will then feed them with a liquid fish and kelp, because the topsoil is not inherently that nutritive, and I just want to make sure that these have the food that they need to produce those potatoes that we need. And if you're watching this during the Apocalypse Grow Challenge or in the lead up to that, which is my survival challenge, where I'm trying to fish, forage, and garden for all of my food for an entire month, which would be June 1st to 30th, 2019, then you know it's really important that I get these potatoes right. So let's go ahead and hop into that process right now. The first thing I'm going to do is just lift up all these edges now that they've reached the height that they can support it. And that gives us enough room to see just exactly how much we're going to need to hill up. Now the cool thing about potatoes is that they're what's known as a pioneer crop. So they're some of the first crops you might plant in ground that otherwise wouldn't be so good. And I learned that from my friend Brigitte over at San Diego Seed Company, who you guys might know. She is the woman who owns the world's smallest organic urban certified seed company. And so she taught me that, and we actually harvested some potatoes over there. But what was really cool is that you can just use topsoil with a little bit of compost and you're gonna be fine, because the potatoes are just one of the first crops you might plant in soil that really isn't good in the first place, which would suggest that they're a plant that doesn't need a whole ton of crazy amounts of fertility. Of course, it's not gonna hurt, but as you can see, I'm just kind of coming in with my trowel and spot filling. So I don't wanna unnecessarily bury things that don't need to be buried or get a ton of dirt all over the top of the foliage, but I do just wanna come in and fill this. And so this is kind of like a hybrid potting mix, topsoil, compost mixture here, which looks pretty nice. I mean, it's not overly clay, it's got a good color to it, should work just fine. We're gonna fill all these pots to the absolute brim, and then we will go ahead and water them in. So if you guys don't want to see me slowly fill in all these pots, just go ahead and skip forward on the video. Figured I would just be hanging out. It's a nice relaxing day here in San Diego. Good Friday. Not the holiday, it's just a good Friday in general. I grew up Catholic, so that has a different meaning to me. Anyways, yeah, these potatoes, I'm super excited about them. I gotta be honest with you guys, some of my favorite crops ever are just root crops. I think the joy of pulling up a root crop is probably one of like the purest joys in gardening to me, because of the mystery factor. You don't know, I mean, you know what you tried to do with the crop. You don't necessarily know if you succeeded until the very end, which to me is it's kind of a cool difference compared to, let's say, growing a tomato or a strawberry or any leafy green. You kind of know if you messed up or not on those pretty early. But with potatoes, you don't know until you're either gonna cry or you're gonna laugh or smile with joy right when you pull them up. So Again, we've planted those warbas, which are a white potato. We've planted the Norland Reds, which are a red potato, of course, and then the Yukon Golds, as you might imagine, are a yellow potato, just for some variety during this survival challenge. And also, some of these potatoes have different use cases. Like the Norlands, the red ones are pretty good for a stew application, whereas the Yukon Gold yellows are more of a waxy type potato that can be used in a lot of different ways. You know, like I'm sure you guys know, like when you have like a stew, a lot of times it's that sort of more grainy textured red potato with the skin still on that will peel off. That's usually what you're going to use for that stew. So the warbas, on the other hand, those are white potato. I'm actually unsure what people typically use those for. The package has a big plate of fries, so maybe that's, I mean, kind of signaling what I should be using them for the challenge. But again, with these potatoes, you want to be hilling up once, twice, probably no more than a total of about a foot of extra soil, because I've read some reports and heard experience from fellow gardeners that you really don't get a whole lot of extra yield out of hilling up past about 12 to maybe 18 inches or so. So there are these products that are these like potato towers that go up like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 feet. And at least from what I've heard, it's really not that effective because the potato production caps out at about 1.5 feet. So I have yet to actually verify that in my own experience, because people I trust have said it doesn't work, so I'm not about to go try it again myself. But if you guys have any feedback, please, let me know if you've grown potatoes in one of those big boys and it either has or hasn't worked out for you. I'd love to know. So yeah, we're just filling up here. We're almost done with this one, and then we're gonna move them back out after we give them a nice liquid kelp. So the liquid kelp and fish is a 2-2-2, good all-around fertilizer. Just gonna give it a nice drench so I don't have to water these for a while. This extra soil is really gonna help with so I spill it all over the canopy, is gonna help with the water retention, because potatoes are definitely a water-loving crop. They need a lot of that water to form those beautiful tubers that we love to eat. So we're pretty much good here. You can see these look much more supported, certainly, and that extra 6 inches of space we just hilled up is going to be a good little buffer zone for those tubers to come out. So I'm going to finish these two off camera. We're going to fertilize them, and we'll put them back outside. All right, we're all hilled up. I'm going to give it a little bit of Organic Plus Fish and Kelp from Kellogg Organics. What's nice about this particular product that I like is it has some unsulfured molasses in it. So molasses, unsulfured especially, being a nice microbial food. So any soil life that is present in here is going to become more present because I'm going to give it the food that it needs to start reproducing and really mobilizing some of those nutrients that we're about to add, right? So it makes a lot of sense. So we're just going to give it a quick drink, nothing too crazy. I'm watering in the late afternoon, which is not ideal, but the foliage will dry off before nighttime, so I'm not too stressed about getting some of it wet. But we're just giving it a nice drink because that topsoil and compost and potting mix was a little bit dry, and I just want to make sure that we're giving our taters the best shot at life. So that's that. I mean, the hilling up process, guys, is, again, pretty darn basic, but it's a fun crop. It's just a really fun plant to learn how to grow. Even though they are cheap at the store, you aren't going to beat the flavor of a homegrown potato fresh out of the ground or stored in a root cellar. It's still miles and miles better than anything you're going to buy at the store. So let's take these out, put them in the garden. You always got to watch out for the sun. The sun comes in here, so I should put the taller one in the back. And there we go. So as you can see, potatoes in different stages of their life. Some of them are different varieties, some of them were started at different times, but these ones certainly off to a really good start. Hope that was helpful. Hilling Potatoes 101, really simple process, honestly. And later videos, you're gonna see me talk about my in-ground potatoes over here, my raised bed potatoes over there. So I'm doing potatoes 3 ways, kind of like a chef would, but growing them. So stay tuned for that. Good luck in the garden, keep growing. And if you like this, definitely check out the Apocalypse Grow Challenge. It's either going on right now, it has gone on, or it is about to go on. So it's my survival challenge where I'm trying to live off of my own food, June 1st through 30th, 2019, bartering only for fair market value, growing, fishing, and foraging, all right? So good luck in the garden, keep growing, peace out.